Scones are an English bakery classic, but you can bake them up in your own home oven. This recipe lets you pick your flavor flair and dress them up to be whatever you're craving. We are calling on baker Vaughn to teach us how. It's like you were in my head and heart just this weekend. You knew. Over the weekend, chatting with girlfriends, I'm like, last year I mastered like the perfect salad, and now
this is the year of the scone.
Verbally, I said I want to master scones, and here you are.
Here I am.
I just wished you into existence.
Perfect.
What's to love about scones from a baker's perspective?
Oh, scones are just so good. They're like that British classic, similar to a biscuit, but they're a little bit richer, a little bit denser. Difference between a biscuit and a scone is that scones usually have eggs and cream in it, which biscuits usually do not. And so it kind of gives it a little bit different of a texture. And you can go sweet, you can go savory. Really, there's like something for everyone.
Well,
right?
that's it. Once you've mastered the basic recipe, then you can play and have fun.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you say these are the perfect thing for brunch.
Yes.
So mothers say thank you, because this would be great.
It's just like a little something extra, a little different. Yeah.
How do we get started, Lori?
Okay, so super easy. You just start by combining your dry ingredients with your wet ingredients.
She's measuring, people. She's official. You're professional.
No, you just get, it's more accurate that way. But at home, if you're like, oh, she pulled out a scale, I'm now scared, have no fear. They have all tablespoons and cup measurements with you as long. So, flour, a little bit of sugar, baking soda, salt. Like literally everything you have at home. Just give that a little bit of a whisk together. And then now we're gonna do our wet. I have some heavy cream in here. Gonna add an egg.
Oh, she's a one-handed too. You are just showing off. You are so credible right now in our eyes.
Thank you. I have egg, vanilla. Also gonna mix that together.
Eggs, vanilla,
Don't worry, scale's going away now.
I feel a little less intimidated when the scale gets tucked aside.
And before we mix in our wet.
Sorry, this was cream, eggs.
Cream, egg, and vanilla.
Vanilla, okay.
Yep, super easy. We're gonna put it in our butter.
Okay, now butter requires some extra attention because temperature matters,
Just a little bit,
right?
yeah. Do you know why? So,
something about the flakiness.
So we want to use cold butter, and my ingredients are cold too. Cold cream. In a lot of cakes, you see like, get everything to room temperature, everything to room temperature. With pastries, biscuits, scones, it's the opposite. You want everything cold. Cold cream, cold egg, cold butter. And the reason for that, if we can incorporate this cold butter, you're gonna leave behind those chunks. You think like, don't I not want that mixed in? No, you don't. You wanna leave those pebble size, and what happens in the oven is those pockets are gonna expand, and you're gonna get that flaky, tender, buttery richness.
So I won't ultimately be biting into a ball of butter. It disperses. I like the look on your face. It disperses into the dough, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other difference between a biscuit and a scone is the biscuits usually have bigger pieces, and if you're being pretty technical, then the scones are a little bit more blended in, because that's what makes it a little more tender, less flaky.
Okay.
Anyways, you're gonna get it into like pea-sized chunks. If you're also scared of this tool, this is just a pastry blender. Really simple, really inexpensive off of Amazon, you know, $6.
I'm proud to say I own one, and I feel quite...
You're already a step ahead.
Yeah, I feel powerful.
But if you don't have one at home, you can use like a cheese grater.
Okay.
And like
grate
up the butter like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now what's happening here?
Okay, so pea-sized chunks. If you want to make this sourdough, so for my sourdough lovers out there, yes, you can make it plain. We can just incorporate this as is.
That's your dough.
You're not like, I don't do sourdough. Don't even say that word to me. We don't have to go there.
Scale and sourdough, this is just too much.
But if you have some of that leftover sourdough starter sitting in your fridge, you don't know what to do with it, then I am gonna pull out my scale one more time. I'm sorry, I lied.
I love you.
You wanna make them sourdough? Should we make them sourdough?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull out my scale, and I'm gonna do about a half a cup, or that's about 115 grams for me. I'm being pretty accurate.
You're amazing.
And whisk that together.
Add it to the wet.
And what that's gonna do is provide, it's not sour. Not everything that you use sourdough discard for is sour.
Okay.
What it does is it brings complexity of flavor, and there's so much natural bacteria in sourdough starter, natural probiotics. It increases celery production, reduces inflammation, so many good things. So if we can add that to as many baked goods as possible, it helps with flavor, texture.
Good to know.
So now we're adding our wet with our dry.
Okay.
All that good stuff in there.
Yes.
And then you just give it a
gentle
gentle
mix. And you hand mix this normally? Yes?
Yeah. I just do it, no fancy tools.
Okay.
You could do it in, a little blender or something. You just want to be wary that you don't over puree it, over mix it, because again, we want those buttery pockets. We don't want this to be over mixed.
Okay, and now comes the fun part, right? Where we get to play with flavors.
You ready to mix it in?
Let's do it. What are we making today?
So again, you could go sweet or savory. You can do, I've done strawberries, I've done chocolate chips, I've done like a blueberry lemon. You can even spice up this dough if you wanted to add a little bit of cinnamon. Don't be afraid to do that. That's not gonna ruin the consistency. Or add a little lemon juice, lemon zest, things like that. That's not gonna throw off the recipe.
Okay.
So I've played around a ton with that.
Awesome.
Today we're gonna go a little savory though.
Okay.
And I have some sharp white cheddar, some bacon, and some chives. So we'll add that. How does that sound?
That sounds amazing. We're suddenly starving.
Some of our moms are savory, some of them are sweet. So this is like something for everyone.
Okay, so we mix this, we incorporate this. About 30 seconds left. Any tips for rolling this out, shaping this, baking this?
So we're just gonna dump this guy, and it's gonna look crumbly. It's gonna look like a mess.
I was ready to panic, but you calmed me right down.
No, so you're just gonna press it together.
I'm like, I rushed her, it's crumbly. We want it crumbly.
No. Yeah, this is how it's supposed to look.
Okay.
Push it together. If it's feeling a little stickier than this, add a little bit more flour. And again, I'm not even using a rolling pin. I'm just pressing it together.
Okay.
And then you can do them like biscuits and cut them into rounds, or you can cut them into like the classic iconic triangles, just
kind
like
of
a
the
pizza.
wedge,
Yeah.
And then bake it up?
Bake it 425 for about 18 to 25 minutes, depending on how hot your oven runs. And if you want an extra little richness and extra browning, you can just brush a little cream on top.
Brush cream.
Super good.
Not even an egg wash, but a cream wash.
We're going all in.
Listen, you're amazing. You're a great teacher, and I hope you take that as the sincere compliment. I mean it to be. Like, you are calming, you walk people through, and all of that wisdom and teaching expertise is captured in this beautiful new book, which I'm doing cartwheels over. It's so lovely. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you're like really starting to go into that sourdough journey and you want a little bit more, I have a cookbook out. It goes through all the bread recipes, but also ways you can use or discard. So scones recipe is in there. The scones recipe is also free on my website. But if you're looking for more recipes, we have bagels, pizza crust, all the things.
Where can we get a book?
So on my website, lowskitchenco.com, you can also follow me on Instagram, lowskitchenco.
I think it's so well timed. It's a beautiful book you'll be proud to display in your kitchen, but also I think at a point in time when people have sort of mastered sourdough, it's fun to know how to play a little bit and how to incorporate it in different recipes. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
We will link you over to her website from ours, studio5.ksl.com. For all of the food links, the recipes, and the guest information, you are going to the food page there on the Studio 5 website.